The Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware and building center location. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Welcome to Rogers Center. This is the final homestand of the 2012 season. The New York Yankees are in town for the first of 4. The Yankees coming from Minnesota yesterday. They had a day game yesterday. They got into Toronto early last night. Joe Girardi's got his club out in front of the American League East. Top of the order is the captain, Derek Jeter. This season against the Blue Jays, he's hit .357 with 4 doubles, 2 home runs. He's driven in 7. Now he's got a good winger in Ichiro Suzuki batting second. He has been a tear on the Blue Jays. He went 9 for 12 in a 3-game series in New York against the Jays. Alex Rodriguez is the DH. Cano, Swisher, Granderson, middle of the order. Russell Martin, Raul Ibanez, and Jason Nix rounded out, and they're set to take on Brandon Morrow,
who's had an up and down period really since coming off the disabled list on August the 25th. His first 6 starts after the disabled list, he's pitched 4 innings 3 times. He's pitched 6 innings the 3 other time. Time to get that consistency back with Brandon Morrow, and I think it starts with his fastball.
Fastball command is always important, and it's very important when you're trying to get this guy out, Derek Jeter. Morrow's done a good job against Jeter. The Yankee captain has just 4 hits in 22 at-bats against the Blue Jays right-hander. Derek Jeter had his 19-game hit streak snapped yesterday afternoon. Minnesota collared him with an 0 for 4. We are set. Morrow is set. Here's the first pitch of the ball game. And it's in there for a strike. Derek Jeter, 200 hits for the 8th time in his career. Last 20 games, a .348 average. Missed with that fastball. Brandon Morrow's making his 7th start since coming off the disabled list. He was off to a great start this season, and then he injured his oblique on June 11th. Well, there's another good fastball, and Jeter very subtly let Tim Welke know that he didn't think it was a strike.
But that was a strike, and that's a good spot right there. Fastball on the inner half. He hits Aaron Sebia's glove. Doesn't even move it right there. Jeter right there says something to him.
1-2. Fastball, and Jeter fights it up. Derek Jeter's always been great at taking that inside pitch and just trying to flare it. Right now with 2 strikes, he's in a defensive mode.
Yeah, he's trying to wait as long as possible to see that ball. Don't try and commit too soon. That's why you'll see a lot of those fastballs go to right field.
1-2. Ground ball. Kelly Johnson up the middle. He'll throw out Derek Jeter. 1 down. Take a look at the defense behind Brandon Morrow, and it's been a little shaky of late. They've committed 5 errors in their last 3 games. In the outfield, Ghost, Rasmussen, Sierra, Escobar, Johnson up the middle, Lyndon Lawrie at the corners, and JP Aaron Sebia is back behind the plate.
Other than the problems that Moises Sierra has had in the outfield during day games where he's lost a bunch of balls in the sun, he has played good outfield. He hasn't committed an error in 43 games, and he's got 3 outfield assists, which is 4th on the team this season.
Ichiro Suzuki. Blue Jays will have to try something different. The last time they saw Ichiro, he went 9 for 12. That was in a 3-game series in the Bronx. 3 doubles, a home run. His average for the season is .283.
And he hit the ball from foul line to foul line. You can't defend him.
There's a changeup, and he was way out in front.
It's tough to pitch to him. The best thing you can do, I think, is just throw strikes and bunch everybody in the middle of the diamond and hope he hits it at somebody.
His numbers against the Blue Jays this season, 15 for 42. And you can see that one series that really pumped up his season average against the Jays. As a Yankee, Ichiro's hitting .328. On the ground, Kelly Johnson to his right. Ichiro is out by a full stride. 2 down.
Let's take a look at the scouting report for Brandon Morrow, brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. Here are the types of pitches that he will throw. He uses the fastball 59% of the time, and he's been good at 93 or 94 miles an hour, but he can always dial it up. We talk about the fastball command for Brandon Morrow. Before his injury, off of the fastball, batters were hitting just 209. Since that injury, 316. So if he keeps it where he's thrown it the first couple of batters, he's going to be fine.
Alex Rodriguez is the DH. Joe Girardi has used Rodriguez in the DH spot an awful lot, coming off an injury. Had a broken hand. He was hit by a pitch by Felix Hernandez. Activated off the DL on the 3rd of September.
Everybody has bumps and bruises this time of the year as you're fighting for that pennant. Derek Jeter's been playing on one leg, it seems like, for the last 3 weeks.
Morrow misses inside. 3-0. This time of the year, you don't worry about those things. Pull up your socks and you go get them. My old teammate Hal McRae in Kansas City said, you know what, we got all winter to rest. A-Rod takes a 4-pitch walk, comes with 2 outs. Well, now Brandon Morrow will work with Robinson Cano. Left-handers have not been a problem for Morrow. They've hit 194 for the season as opposed to 258 for the righties. And in his last start, we saw Joe Madden of Tampa Bay keep 2 of his hottest hitters out of the lineup, and they were both left-handed hitters.
Yeah, they just happened to hit left-handed, and what he wanted to do is he felt that slider that Morrow has, where it gets a lot of his strikeouts, it was a little bit tougher on the left-handers, and they would go after it and swing at it. He would look at those splits.
Robinson Cano takes a high changeup. Look at the splits for the left-handed hitters in this lineup, including Cano. They've hit just .210 for their career against Brandon Morrow. That includes Ichiro Cano, the switch hitter Nick Swisher, Curtis Granderson, and Raul Ibanez.
That's impressive numbers versus left-handed hitters. Good left-handed hitters.
Cano waves at it, foul tips it there, and Sevilla holds on. It's 0-2. The Yankees have the season edge in the series. They're 9-5 against the Blue Jays this year. Oh, it took a little bit too much time for Cano's liking. The Yankees have homered in 7 straight games. That's why they call them the Bronx Bombers. They've hit 15 home runs over that stretch, and a big challenge for Brandon Morrow. Keep them in the yard. They don't have the type of team that can manufacture an awful lot of runs. They lean heavily on the long ball.
Yeah, and it's been very good to them. They've got power up and down that lineup. Do not have a player with 100 RBIs, though, with all those home runs.
Bouncing ball up the middle. Escobar on a second base side of the bag. Throws Cano out. Brandon Morrow with 3 ground ball outs in the first. He's off to a good start. And Luis Rivera is right there to interpret, and not really sure what that is all about. Didn't seem to have any physical problems when he was on the field. Take a look at the Blue Jays lineup, trying to avoid a 90-loss season. Brett Lawrie, Colby Rasmus, then the DH Edwin Encarnacion. Edwin's hit well against the New York Yankees this season. 7 extra base hits. He's driven in 9, and he had a couple of home runs in Baltimore in the last stop on that long road trip. Escobar, Lindner, and Sebia, middle of the order. Kelly Johnson's at second. Moises Sierra is in right, and Anthony goes to the rookie. He is in left field.
Just 2 1/3 innings pitched for Ivan Nova in his last start, the shortest of his career versus the Oakland A's. Began with 3 straight doubles. All of them were hit hard against Nova. They would end up winning that game in spectacular fashion. Just didn't have very good command that afternoon. And second time that the Blue Jays have faced Nova this season.
Managers are kind of funny this time of the year. If you don't get off to a good start, they have a quick hook. Nova's first pitch to Brett Lawrie, a high strike. We saw the quick hook with Joe Madden and Matt Moore down in St. Petersburg. But you don't have time to wait around and let the starters get into a groove. Curveball is bounced up the first baseline. Brett Lawrie is just over 3 against Ivan Nova. Hasn't faced him an awful lot. The Blue Jays coming off a 2-8 road trip. They actually hit 260 as a team on the road trip, but they only averaged 3.2 runs a game.
Yeah,
didn't score many runs.
A couple of games they had some good offensive games. The other times not very good. You add it all up, and it was not a successful road trip. Pitching, defense, hitting, clutch hitting, home runs, everything. And it was tough. You were playing the 3 teams that are fighting for a pennant.
Bouncing ball, big hop for Jeter. On the money, Laurie's retired. 1 down. Well, the Yankees have some older veterans, but they certainly play with their head. A lot of positioning changes, a lot of subtle moves in the infield and outfield. Ibanez, Granderson, and Ichiro Suzuki in the outfield. Jeter and Cano, what a great double play combination up the middle. Former Blue Jay Jason Nix is at third. Nick Swisher's done a heck of a job filling in at first base for the injured Mark Teixeira.
And one of those veterans you're talking about, Jason Nix, has done a great job with the New York Yankees. Plays some short. He's played some second. He's filling in for Alex Rodriguez, who's had that bone bruise on his foot.
Colby Rasmus. Big curveball from Ivan Nova. Rasmus on Tuesday night really hit the ball well. And Baltimore had a chance for a couple of more hits, but the defense took a couple away from him. Jeter positioned up the middle. 2 ground ball outs.
Take a look at the scouting report for Ivan Nova tonight. Again, coming off of his shortest start of his career. 2-seam sinker, 4-seam fastball. That's what you'll get 55% of the time. He's got a decent slider. His curveball, I think, is his out pitch. Sometimes it's real good, sometimes it's floats up there. He gets most of his strikeouts, though, off of that curveball. He throws changeup to the left-hander, and he'll work downhill. He's a big guy, and he really comes at you from the mound.
Edwin Encarnacion hit his 42nd home run in his first at-bat last night. Pops this one back. And he's in the hole quickly, 0-2. That is not a concern for Encarnacion, hitting with 2 strikes. He has the 4th highest percentage of hits coming with 2 strikes in the majors. And this time he checked his swing, and on the appeal, Paul Schreiber down at first said no swing.
I think he really shortens it up with 2 strikes. And you know what else he does? He doesn't panic when he's behind.
8-game hit streak. A couple of home runs and 5 driven in. 1-2, 2 outs. There's a base hit, another hit with 2 strikes.
The shortstop, number 5, Yunel Escobar.
Yunel Escobar playing back at Rogers Center for the first time since his 3-game suspension. And fans really kind of ambivalent to his return. Just acknowledged he was batting in the cleanup spot and hitting with 2 outs. Encarnacion at first. Line right to Jeter. Escobar hit it hard, but right to the shortstop. So Ivan Nova gives up a 2-out single. Blue Jays leave a base runner. We're scoreless after 1. Weekend, and a lot of great prizes to be won tomorrow. Blue Jays and Yankees will tee it up at 7:07 p.m. and one lucky fan will win a 2012 Honda Insight LX. For Blue Jays tickets, call 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Someone will win a 2012 Honda.
But not us.
Not us.
You don't have a chance. All right.
Nick Swisher, the first baseman, boy, he has done a heck of a job filling in at first base. And pretty interesting guy. He's a free agent at the end of this season. He can play outfield. He can play first base. He's a switch hitter. And he's 31 years old. I think he is going to be a very attractive commodity on the free agent market.
It just depends on who is going to be willing to cough up big money. Because I think Swish wants to go to a team and cash in. Could be his last contract as a player.
Few good fastballs, and that's the one key we were concerned about with Morrow, that fastball location, and early on it's good.
He can run it up there in the high 90s, but I think he pitches better when he's 93, 94. He seems to be a little bit better under control, just a little bit better in control of his body, and then it helps him to locate those pitches.
Just with that changeup. You'll remember his great start out in Anaheim against the Angels when he was really locked in, and after that game he told you that he felt like he could throw strikes with his eyes closed.
Yeah, put a blindfold on me on the mound and I could hit that ball down and away against those right-handers, which he did all night long.
Swisher checks his swing. Another ground ball for Kelly Johnson. It's the first out of the inning.
You know, 3 times in that, I'll call it the first half before Brandon got injured in June, he had shutouts, and they were all the same type of pitched games. Fastball down and away, sharp slider late in the count if he needed to. He'd mix in his curveball early, he'd mix in his changeup early, but it was the fastball that really set him apart.
Curtis Granderson goes after the first pitch. Lynn will underhand tomorrow. One pitch, and Granderson's retired. That's 5 ground ball outs for Brandon Morrow already. You know what that does? That keeps his pitch count in order.
Yep.
Gets him a little bit deeper into the ball game.
Keeps the ball in the ballpark.
Now that's one thing I would never understand as a catcher. Brandon Morrow just threw one pitch, got Curtis Granderson out, and then wants a new ball. I want that same ball.
Yeah, get that same feel.
Yeah.
Especially if it's got a scuff on it.
Yeah.
That's going to make that ball move all over the place.
None of the pitchers that I caught ever would turn over a scuffed baseball.
No way.
2 outs. Russell Martin goes after the first pitch and pops it down the left side. Long run for Anthony Gose. He's not going to get there. I don't know if Gose didn't see it off the bat or not, but that ball was up there forever. And he might have lost it initially. But Russell Martin gets a bloop fly ball double down the left field line.
He was playing deep against Martin. You don't have to play that deep against him, but you're right. It's up there a long, long time, and he's rounding into it. I still think he could have run through that baseball and made the catch. He gave up on it quickly, and it fell in with his very good speed. I think he could have gotten that one, and Brandon's not happy about that.
Yeah, that's a fly ball. I thought that should have been caught. 2 outs. Russell Martin in scoring position for Raul Ibanez.
You know, I hope that's the only hit of the night, but I don't hope it's the only hit of the night, if you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean. That was a fly ball. I think everybody on the field anticipated that was the 3rd out of the inning. But Russell Martin's been a hot hitter. His 17th double goes to left field. So now Morrow, with a runner at second, has to deal with Raul Ibanez. Well, that's a good fastball. Tied him up on the inner half.
Yeah, that's the thing. Put it in a good spot. 93 miles an hour, which is very good. It's free and easy, and it explodes on you, but it's in a good spot. Now the finishing touch. That's what you're looking for right here.
0-2. Elevates and punches out Raul Ibanez. So he pitches around the 2-out double. It's a scoreless game. Bottom of the second. It'll be Adam Lynn. The catcher, J.P. Arancibia, who's swinging a hot bat. And back every time Toronto hits a home run, you can win big. Audio home theater systems and big TVs, like an 80-inch Sharp Optimus Quadron. To enter, visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Brandon Morrow off to a good start. Throwing the ball very well. He has picked up 5 ground ball outs already. And struck out Raul Ibanez, first strikeout of the night. That ended the top half of the second. Ivan Nova, his mound opponent against the Blue Jays, he's 3-1, but he's never lost to the Blue Jays as a starter. He's 3-0. This is his 6th career start against the Jays.
He had a big strikeout game against the Blue Jays earlier this year, the only other time that Toronto faced him.
Then drives it to left. Ibanez takes a couple of steps back and makes the pitch. 1 down. Now J.P. Arancibia will step in against Ivan Nova. J.P. had a great series in Baltimore. And it all started in game 1 of the doubleheader when he got a base hit off Jim Johnson, their great closer. Lined a single up the middle, and that got him in a real good spot at the plate. Takes the first pitch strike.
You know what's interesting about that is he was pinch hitting to lead off that 9th inning. That too can just clear your mind. You go up there, just react, see the ball, and just hit it. Keep things a little bit simpler. And he's looked like a different hitter since then.
He's got hits in 7 of his last 9 at bats, and he's reached base in 9 of his last 12 plate appearances. Oh, that's a good curveball. Arancibia couldn't check his swing, and Nova, first strikeout of the night. That's not unusual for Nova pitching against the Jays.
When he is on with his breaking stuff, his curveball is nasty. You really can't pick it up out of his hand because he throws it just like a fastball. But look at the movement and look at how sharp and how fast that curveball is to pick up those strikeouts. He's also got that slider, the changeup. He'll use his fastball. But the put-away pitch is that curveball. And he uses it to strike batters out. 44% of the times when you strike out is because of that curveball.
2 down, Kelly Johnson. High fastball. And 2 outs. There's that curveball, another strikeout. So Ivan Nova getting a feel for his curveball, uses just 8 pitches to retire the Jays in order in the 2nd. We head to the top of the 3rd, and we are pleased to be joined now in the booth by a very special guest, Patrick Burke of the You Can Play Project. He's the founder of the You Can Play Project. And last time the Blue Jays were here, Yunel Escobar wrote an insensitive statement on his eye black, a homophobic slur, and he really ran himself into a problem and got suspended for it. But Patrick, first of all, you reached out to the Blue Jays, and tell us first of all about the background of You Can Play Project.
The You Can Play Project is our program to end homophobia in sports. My late brother was openly gay, and in the wake of losing him, what we've tried to do is make sports safe for gay athletes. So an incident like the incident with Escobar shows young gay athletes are exposed to these words. It affects the way they play. It scares them away from sports, and we need to do a better job of making sports more inclusive.
Of course, your father is Brian Burke, the GM of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he's been front and center in a lot of these projects. But when you had a chance to meet with the Blue Jays, what was your goal when you made initial contact with the ball club?
One of the things that we really prioritize is education. I know when things like this occur, everyone wants to do pitchforks and torches and let's get them. But that's not what we want. When things like this happen, it's usually due to ignorance. People don't understand the meaning behind these words. So I reached out to Alex and said, if there's anything we can do in terms of training, in terms of speaking with you now, in terms of working with the team, we're more than happy to do it. And the Blue Jays were thrilled to have us in, and we had a really productive meeting today.
Did you have a chance to talk with Yunel personally or the team altogether, and what was said?
Myself and Jose Estevez, who is a gay Hispanic runner from Boston, we were able to sit with Yunel, the three of us, and have a really good conversation. And Jose just talked him through, this is what I went through. This is, the experiences that I had, and this is why what you did was so offensive. And it was great because I don't speak Spanish, so it wouldn't have been a great conversation without Jose there.
Well, I think the one thing that everybody understands, and knowing you now, I don't think his intent was to make a slur publicly, but he had to understand the meaning of the words, and hopefully by that meaning that you had, he will understand to be a little more sensitive now.
I don't believe that anything Yunel did was malicious. I think it was out of ignorance. I think he didn't understand what he was doing. But for meetings like this, hopefully we say, look, no matter how you might mean that word, no matter what you might say that word means to you, to the gay community, it only means one thing.
Tell us how the meeting with the players went and how you were received during that meeting.
We sat with Yunel, and we had a great conversation. He was very interested. He was open. He talked. He listened. He asked a couple questions, and I think by the end of it, you could really see that what Jose had to say and a little bit of what I had to say really hit home with him and really made a difference. So I think he's had a big change of heart. He said he wants to be a leader on this issue. He wants to work to end homophobia in sports, and I think he understands now.
Your organization has partnered up with a lot of hockey franchises. How about the partnership with the Toronto Blue Jays? How's that going?
Alex and Paul Beeston have both said they want to do things with us going forward. We're probably going to let the season wind down here, let them get through the end of the year without distractions from us. And then going into spring training and going into next season, we'll have some ways to work together.
Obviously, this isn't just restricted to hockey and baseball, but how active are you across the board in sports?
We've reached out to every major sport, NFL, NBA, MLB, and also at the university level, we're starting to do more and more. So our policy is any sport, any athlete, anywhere, we want to be there to support them and help them any way we can.
Patrick, we would certainly want to wish you the best in your efforts, and it's a very worthy cause, obviously, and thank you for helping you now understand his mistakes.
We're very grateful to the Blue Jays organization for everything they did for us this weekend and bringing us in to be here, and grateful to you as well.
And there's the website. You can get more information about the You Can Play project and log on there and make sure you get a little better informed about what's going on. Patrick, once again, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Patrick, thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Ichiro Suzuki hits the grounder. Yunel Escobar throws him out. Another quick inning for Brandon Morrow. Just 10 pitches for Morrow sets the Yankees down in order. We'll go to the bottom of the third. It's a scoreless tie. Enjoying those big comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone are members of the Toronto Raptors. The TD Comfort Zone, courtesy of TD. Won't be long and the Raptors will be hitting the hardwood and getting their season underway. Obviously a lot of anticipation. This time of the year, athletes get all kind of itchy to get out and start their season, and I know those Raptors players are thinking about passing the rock around. You know what that's all about. You were quite a basketball player.
Throwing it in the goal. I had a discussion the other day with JP and Sebia. Do you call it hoops or do you call it a goal? A hoop or a goal? And I said it's a goal. Well, you don't go out and say, hey, let's go out and shoot some goals. You shoot some hoops.
Yeah.
Right? I said, well, that's just the street slang word for it. It's a goal. Got to teach those baseball guys something.
This is popped straight back by Moises Sierra. Moises has done a good job. He's played in now 31 games in right field. I don't think anybody in the organization anticipated the rookies would get this many opportunities. But because of a combination of things, and obviously the injury to Bautista, there have been a lot of opportunities. And I don't care who you are or what you're hitting, just to have ABs under your belt in the big leagues, that's experience. You learn from that.
And it's going to go so far in the off season as those players hit back to their homes, and he went around on that one. They're going to go back to their homes and they're going to think about this last 6 weeks or so of the season that they've been here, and they'll replay these games in their minds and these at bats, and they'll say, I should have done this or I could have done that, and that's going to be a learning process for them. But you're right, the experience and just the chance to face big league pitching for a month to 6 weeks is going to go a long way.
Adeiny Echeverria has a 9-game hit streak in September, including a pinch hit in last night's game. And there's obviously a possibility that streak would come to an end as a pinch hitter. But he sat back and drilled the ball into right field to extend his hit streak.
And I hope they take that experience, these young players, and they go play winter ball. And they can use that, and maybe they can get just a little bit better and make themselves a little bit closer to the big leagues full time.
Well, let me tell you, that guy out at shortstop, he wants to get better every year, and he's 38 years old. Derek Jeter leads the majors in hits, and he's 13 hits ahead of anybody else. He never stops wanting to get better. We've had the good fortune in the last 2 series to see Jim Thome and Derek Jeter, and they're both going to the Hall of Fame. And the one thing they have in common is they respect the game unequivocally. Total respect for the game of baseball. Today, Andrew Jones was late getting out for the team stretch. Derek Jeter just gave him a look, and Jones goes, sorry, Cap.
They put the game first. They go out and they play the game. That's something that we talked about yesterday. They're defined by what they do on the field, not from all the stuff that you hear off of the field or what they do, what they accomplish, commercials or whatever.
Anthony goes. Boy, what an adjustment he's made in his second stint. He's got patience at the plate.
The all-new 2012 Honda CR-V. Yeah, it does that. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful night, Rogers Center. It's a little cool outside as there's a hint of fall in the air.
First time they saw Nova, Ghost was in the lineup and he struck out. And they were all on curveballs. I don't know if you were with us last inning. We were showing all the strikeouts he had. They were on curveballs. And I remember watching that today saying, they're going to throw that curveball again and he's not going to swing at it. I just know it because he's made the adjustments, and that's what a young hitter needs to do. Good at bat by Anthony Ghost.
So Ghost now is on the mind of Ivan Nova. Big lead at first. Lawrie drives it to right end deep. Ichiro back, looking up, home run. Brett Lawrie. And opposite field, a home run, his 10th of the season. Brett Lawrie gives the Blue Jays a 2-0 lead on a first pitch fastball because Anthony Gose was at first.
You have to challenge him, and it's up and away. People have been wondering, where's the power gone from Brett Lawrie? Just his 10th home run of the season. It shows you the type of power he has the other way. But you're right. First pitch fastball, you can thank Mr. Gose for that one because of that speed.
9 times out of 10, pitchers and catchers will be worried about that good base runner at first, want to get ahead of the hitter. And Brett Lawrie was sitting on fastball and drills it to right. Colby Erasmus swings at a high heater. First home run for Brett Lawrie since July 22nd. Of course, he missed a month with that oblique injury, but he's been waiting for that one for a long time.
It's got to feel good. It's got to help him. Because he was down in the dumps in Baltimore. He had a rough series in Baltimore where we just came from. Offensively, defensively. And you could just tell that the game was eating at him. That one's got to feel good.
Curveball catches the outside corner. That's 4 strikeouts now for Ivan Nova.
In the last 6 batters. Curveball, you can't give up on it if you're a left-handed batter. He's going to drop it on that outside corner. And you'll be walking back to the dugout.
That's his bread and butter pitch, and he's going to throw that when he's got 2 strikes. Edwin Encarnacion got a 2-strike base hit his last time up. We mentioned that Edwin is 4th in the majors in hits coming with 2 strikes. The percentage of his hits with 2 strikes. The interesting thing about that is the other hitters don't have the power of Encarnacion. He's got 42 home runs, and he still gets nearly 50% of his hits with 2 strikes.
And I think 11 of those home runs have come on a 1 and 2 count this year. That's impressive. Here are the numbers for Ivan Nova when he has 2 strikes. It's called 2-strike usage. He'll throw his fastball 36% of the time, slider 30% of the time, curveball 33% of the time, unless he's feeling it. And tonight he's feeling it with his curveball.
How about Double E? He's 2 for 2, both hits coming with 2 strikes. You're right about his approach. He is short, sweet with 2 strikes.
I think that's one thing he has done a really good job of this year. With 2 strikes, he has shortened it up. Yet he doesn't get intimidated. Young hitters, they start freaking out saying, I don't want to strike out. I don't want to take a bad swing. I don't mind if there's 2 strikes anymore.
Yunel Escobar lined the shortstop his first time up. Tell you what, there is no stigma to strikeouts anymore. It's not a bad deal. I mean, you look at some of the big hitters around baseball, they all strike out a ton. Curtis Granderson has 188 strikeouts. Think anybody's worried about his strikeouts? He's got 40 home runs. Adam Dunn has 211 strikeouts. There was a time in baseball when that was really looked down upon, but it's not the case anymore. Chris Davis, the red-hot Chris Davis, who has 9 home runs against the Blue Jays this year, has 160 strikeouts. So Edwin is really an exceptional hitter where he puts the ball in play with 2 strikes and hits the ball with power. 2-1 to Escobar.
Back in the day, it was a sin if you struck out. And if you had 100 strikeouts on the season, you couldn't find a job.
2-1, 2 outs. And that breaking ball.
Now, I know I'm just teasing there because if you hit 40 home runs, they can live with the 100 strikeouts. But the point being is, guys just have better approaches when they got the 2 strikes and they try and put the bat on the ball.
We'll squeeze you in if you can hit 40. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Ball is outside.
Well, he's got a good bender. It's sharp and he's throwing it in a good spot. Last time out, not very good. Just didn't have the type of command that he has tonight.
Breaking ball popped in the air into shallow right. Ichiro Suzuki moves in, makes the catch. The inning is over. But the Blue Jays take a 2-0 lead. A one-out walk to Anthony Ghost sets the table for Brett Lawrie, who jumps on the first pitch, a high fastball. Home run number 10, 2-0 Jays. One hit through the first 3 innings. Kept the ball on the ground for the most part, and maybe the most impressive things, he's thrown just 35 pitches. It's always a good thing for Brandon Morrow when he can minimize on the pitches early in the ball game and give him a chance to pitch deep into the game.
Stay strong and get through the game. He is normally a fly ball type of pitcher, and that is a good sign where he's getting a lot of ground ball outs.
Alex Rodriguez behind 0-1. Rodriguez walked with 2 outs on 4 pitches. A little extra giddy up on that fastball. Didn't register big on the radar gun, but had a little extra skip upstairs.
It had some life on it, didn't it? Halfway to home plate, it seemed to explode towards the mound, or the mitt. They have really pitched him inside. They have kept the ball in on Rodriguez this year. And when they feel like he is in swing mode, they've used that breaking ball against him.
That's what he was looking for. Looking for the breaking ball. Gets caught with that outside fastball. Second strikeout of the ball game for Brandon Morrow.
That was the pitch that he owned the first part of the season. And watching he and J. Pierre Arencibia work to get to that 0-2 count pitch was masterful. Arencibia tried changeup, he tried slider, he tried front door slider, he said fastball inside. And finally, Morrow knew exactly what he wanted to do to Alex Rodriguez, and it was that fastball away.
Robinson Cano, the second baseman. Morrow looks locked in. Both sides of the plate, fastball command. A-Rod couldn't pull the trigger. Hard cutter. Brandon Morrow is ahead 0-2, and we'll take a look at what his pattern is when he gets to 2 strikes.
Well, if you add those last 2 columns up, 87% of the time, you're either going to get a fastball or you're going to get a slider. A-Rod was looking for the slider, and Morrow crossed him up. He's also had that ability to just pink that ball down and away and reach back for a little something extra when he needs it. And as a hitter, if you start looking for that fastball and he throws that slider, you're going to get a lot of check swing or swing over the top type of strikeouts.
Good ratio of strikes to balls here this evening. Morrow making his 7th start since coming off the disabled list. He missed 65 games with the oblique muscle strain. Changeup. That's a base hit. Robinson Cano with 2 strikes. It's a changeup. He stayed on it and grounded it right up the middle. Second hit for the Yankees.
Good hitters stay back on those types of changeups. They don't commit too early. That's why that guy is a near 300 hitter this year.
Yeah. Morrow's changeup isn't a swing and miss changeup. It's a contact changeup, and you generally get weak contact, and this ball was right off the end of the bat. But look at Cano's head. He stayed right on that pitch, and he gets himself a 2-strike base hit.
You're right. It's a changeup to throw the timing off, to go with the power stuff, power fastball, power slider. And that's the one pitch, that and the curveball, I think have really, when he's got them all working, he's taken them to the next level as a pitcher.
1 out. Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead. Brett Lawrie with a 2-run home run. Swisher with a big cut.
Got to pitch him tough. Swisher has been hot at the plate. Been hitting a lot of home runs and driving in some big runs.
Picking up the slack for the loss of Mark Teixeira. 69 of his 90 RBIs have come as a left-handed hitter. This ball is hit a ton to the opposite field. Ghost is back at the wall, at the track, makes the catch. What a good effort. They got a shot at first base, and they're going to get Cano. Double play ends the inning. Anthony Ghost, a determined effort to run down that ball. It was going to hit up high on the wall in left center. Look at the effort by Ghost. Slams up against the wall, throws it back to the infield, and they convert it into a double play to end the inning. Good D behind Brandon Morrow. Very at home in left.
He's very determined on this one, and I think the ball falling in against Martin made this one, made him go after it just a little bit more. Didn't worry about the wall at all, kept his eye on the ball, caught it, knew he was going to absorb that hit against the wall. Cano thinks it's going to be over his head, so he's going to try and score from first. Goes around second base and just can't get back. It's going to be another double play.
What a good effort by Anthony Ghost. Bails out Brandon Morrow. And Anthony gets better and better with every game. Robinson Cano didn't think Ghost had a chance to make a catch. I tell you one thing we've learned about Anthony Ghost. He's not afraid of the wall.
Either by design or not.
We have seen him kiss the fences around the American League. He got Yankee Stadium good when he first came up. Turned and ran into the wall in right there. He slammed hard against that wall in left. Adam Lynn, right to Swisher. They go to the bag. That's the first out of the inning. Hey fans, every time Toronto hits a home run in the fourth inning, a lucky winner will take home a Sharp home theater system, including audio soundbar, Blu-ray player, and Aqua's LCD TV. To enter, visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Sharp, big is too small a word for it. So JP Arancibia. Big bending curveball for a strike.
How much of that catch by Anthony Gose last inning had to do with the Martin ball falling in? I think it had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I think he felt like that Martin ball should have been caught. I don't know if he didn't see it. I mean, it was up there a long time. And Anthony's got great speed. But I think you're right. I think he made up his mind. Hey, nothing else is going to fall out here.
Yeah. He was running after it and then stopped. And I'm sure the coaches came up to him and said, hey, look, if you're speed, I don't want you to give up on any baseball. Run as hard as you can and go for as long as you can, and you'll be surprised how you'll be able to run that ball down. He runs it down, no fear of the wall. Good play.
That is such a great attribute for an outfielder, especially a young outfielder, not to be afraid of the wall. How many times have we seen guys go into the outfield and get those short alligator arms just as they get to the fence before they anticipate colliding with that fence? Arancibia hits the curveball high into right. Ichiro is there, 2 outs. It's such a good play. We're going to look at it one more time.
From this angle right here, you can see how far he goes for it. The ball slicing back to him. And that's why you can't give up on that ball. You go as hard as you can for as long as you can. And if it's over your head, it's over your head. You've got someone there to back you up.
You know what I like about that play? Even after the double play, he didn't pump his fist in celebration. Oh, yeah, I threw him out. He's supposed to do that. He knows it. Just a regular old play for Anthony Gose. Well, I think he's going to be a great player. He's got a lot of skill. He has the want to. You have to have want to.
Yeah.
And we talked to a young man that's got a lot of that in Baltimore, Adam Jones. Ball on a strike, 2 outs.
What did the old-time coaches used to say when they'd see a rookie? They'd say, he's got a chance. Right?
He's got a chance.
He got a chance to be real good.
2-1, 2 outs. Change up downstairs. 3-1 to Kelly Johnson. Kelly Johnson will take a 2-out walk. And Russell Martin, I think he just broke his glove. Looking at the webbing of his glove, and now he's going to go in and get a new glove. You can see that ball pop right through the webbing. Broke the laces on his glove. And it was ball 4. And he kept looking at his glove and then realized, hey, I better get that ball. So now he'll go to his backup glove. Watch this ball go right through the webbing.
Boy, it looks like it's all taped up and everything like that. It's been through the wars this season for Russell Martin and the Yankees. Lucky this didn't happen with a runner at third base, or it would have cost him a run.
Well, the equipment men on these teams are great at relacing those gloves, and it'll break probably 2-3 times a year all the way to spring training. And that's why every player has a gamer and a backup glove. And you can have that guy fix it that's got it in the dugout, Tony Pena. He'll have it ready for him next inning. 2 outs. Moises Sierra struck out on a big hook from Nova in the third. This time he fouls off the fastball. That's how you hit the curveball. You don't miss the fastballs.
You don't get to that time where he needs to use that curveball. Hit that first pitch fastball. Sierra a little bit tardy on that one.
Curveball pulled to the hole. Jeter goes to second, just ahead of Kelly Johnson. The inning is over. Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead. Now it's time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Craig Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. The 1992 Toronto Blue Jays. It's a 1-hour documentary celebrating and retelling the story of the first Canadian team to win a World Series. Tomorrow, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific on Sportsnet 1. You can also pick up a special edition of Sportsnet magazine commemorating the 1992 Blue Jays on newsstands now. Those two guys had a little bit to do with that 1992 team, Dwayne Ward and Roberto Alomar. And what a great opportunity to relive that beautiful time in Blue Jays history.
Well, I know where I'm going to be at 11 o'clock tomorrow night in front of a television. That should be pretty good.
Yeah.
Bring back good memories.
So many great things happened during that entire stretch of seasons. Curtis Granderson. Granderson grounded out the first baseman his first time up. This is popped in the air. Behind second. Kelly Johnson calls for it and makes the catch. One down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Well, there's a lot to play for as far as the Nationals are concerned. They'd like to have the overall best record. They are 4 games ahead of the Atlanta Braves for the National League East lead. Atlanta's on a tear. Tommy Hanson goes tonight.
You know who's loving that score? Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah.
They want to have the best record in the National League so they can secure home field advantage, and they would play the wild card.
Cincinnati is right now a game behind the Nationals, and that's a great point. Team with the best record will play the wild card team. The surviving of the 2 wild card clubs that play in that 1-game playoff.
Yeah, think about that. You have an off day, maybe the wild card team would have to play, but then they play that every pitch is important wild card do or die game, and then they got to get on a plane and play it again. 3 out of 5. and meanwhile, you're sitting back just waiting. You might end up with their number 3 starter in game number 1.
Wow, in 2. Nobody knows exactly how deep you're going to have to go into the season before you walk up a particular position. Maybe the last day of the season. Russell Martin this time. This is not a fluke. Line drive left. Ghost gets over quickly. Here's the throw, and he keeps Martin to a long single. Good play by Anthony Ghost. It all evens out. Russell Martin's 2 for 2, and this time Ghost keeps him with a long single.
Things that don't show up in the box score. A defensive play by an outfielder that keeps the double play in order with good speed, anticipation, and range. Ghost gets over, cuts that ball off, gets it back quickly. Looked like a double all the way off the bat by Martin, but a good defensive play by Ghost helps out his pitcher once again.
Raul Ibanez struck out his first time up. Morrow got him with a high fastball. First pitch changeup. Old Dead Fish gets ahead of him, and that was a good one.
Here's that play one more time. That is usually a double when you see that, but the Ghost gets off to a quick start and cuts the ball off and holds him to a single. Now Morrow, if he's got that changeup working again and gets the ball on the ground, he's going to get himself out of this inning.
0-2. Morrow is ahead of Ibanez. Now, Ibanez, you know he's thinking about that high fastball, and if he gets a hold of it, he can knock it out of the ballpark. That's the pitch he struck out on his first time up. Morrow's got that good sinking changeup that's been real good tonight. On the ground, Lynn steps on the bag. There have to be a tag at second, and there is. There's that double play Morrow is looking for. Adam Lynn. The ball takes him right to first. He steps on the bag and fires to Escobar. Perfect play for Lind. He's left-handed. There's one out. Throw to second. Escobar tags Martin. There's the second. Fans enter the Hit a Home Run contest with Sharp on Facebook today. There are 5 ways to win this year, including a grand prize draw for Canada's largest LCD TV, a 90-inch Sharp Outpost. Join Sharp Canada on Facebook today. Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead, bottom of the 5th inning. It'll be Ghost, Lawrie, and then Colby Rasmus, and this is the combination that got the Blue Jays on the board. Anthony Ghost drew a 1-out walk and scored on Brent Laurie's 10th home run of the season back in the 3rd.
Nova got ahead early in that count and tried to put him away by throwing him the breaking ball. Fish ain't biting. It was that time for Ghost. He just laid off of 3 breaking balls and got on base. Now you got to expect he's going to lead him off with a fastball. We're ready to turn on one right here.
Ooh, that's a pretty good hammer to start the at-bat. Got the curveball on the outside corner. You just don't swing at those pitches.
Nope. On strike 1.
Coming inside. Base hit. Anthony Ghost. Leadoff single for Ghost.
The all-new 2012 Honda CR-V. Yeah, it does that. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Okay, Mr. Tamlin, if you're Anthony Ghost, do you anticipate a first pitch breaking ball and run?
Maybe even a pitch out. Not a very big lead over there at first base. Not like the lead we saw his last time up.
First pitch breaking ball. And it was in the dirt. Russell Martin had to go to his knees.
Only because the last time up, he got the first pitch fastball, hit it out of the ballpark. And you're right. Got the curveball.
If Ghost is running, he waltzes into second. It chases him back. I tell you what, there's nothing like a well-pitched game in speed. It's so interesting to watch the chess match between the runner and the pitcher. Okay, now I'm going to guess that he's going to throw a curveball right here. And this is the time to run.
Time to take him off.
Lawrie's already hit the fastball out of the ballpark. Ghost has got great speed. He has 15 steals. But this is a curveball count if I've ever seen one.
And if it is a curveball, you take it as a hitter. If it's fastball, let it go.
Pitch out. Russell Martin might have been a little quick on that. Chipped off Ghost at first. So now this really plays into the Blue Jays' hands. Watch Russell Martin. That's a little bit too early. And that's a red flag for a good base runner.
There's your breaking ball.
Not going. There's the breaking ball. And again, Martin goes to his knees. We have seen Nova throw that breaking ball in tight situations. He's going to use it to get himself out of tough jams. And the breaking ball takes longer to get to the catcher and oftentimes ends up in the dirt.
Tougher for a catcher to set himself, catch the breaking ball, and then make an accurate throw. Gotta think he's going now.
So does Nova. Good time to run. Got a 2-run lead. You're the leadoff man. You're in the 5th inning. Brett Lawrie hits the ball well to the right side of the infield. You can still have Lawrie punch one through the infield. Ghost not running. Ball is tapped to short. Jeter has but one play. That's the first. Just in time to get Lawrie. So it works like a sacrifice bunt. It moves Anthony Ghost into scoring position. Jeter had no choice but to go to first.
When you have that type of weapon, and you can say the same thing with Rajai Davis is in the game, you almost anticipate when he's at first base he's going to be at second base. He's going to steal. He's going to be at second base. It's going to be a run at some point. I thought he was going to run a little bit earlier in that count, so Brett Lawrie then could have moved him over to third base.
See, Jeter reminded Nix if he gets the ball to his backhand side, he's going to come to third. Just a little subtle signal from the shortstop. If Rasmus hits one in the hole, I'm going to think about coming to third. Rasmus takes a strike. Derek Jeter is going to shadow Anthony Ghost. Make sure he doesn't get too big a lead. And then he will let Nova when he can unload. Rasmus punts it up the third baseline. Jason Nix knows he didn't have a play. Base hit for Rasmus. Perfect timing by Colby Rasmus. Gets himself a base hit, pushes Ghost to third, and sets the table for Edwin Encarnacion.
Been struggling just a little bit with the bat, so why not? And he has shown that he can drop that bunt down. He is very adept at sticking the bat out against a right-handed pitcher and keeping that ball fair. Nix might have been better off to try and let that ball go. I think he was thinking about trying to fake Ghost out, but the shortstop wasn't there. You see from that one replay on our camera right down the third base line, that ball had some English on it and it was going foul.
Yeah, he had no play whatsoever on Erasmus. First and third, one out. Encarnacion already 2 for 2 tonight. Big numbers across the board. 284, 42, and 107. Encarnacion just one behind Josh Hamilton for the American League lead. Encarnacion and Miguel Cabrera of the Tigers are tied at 42. Ball on the strike. Base hit right field. Anthony Gose is coming in. Colby Erasmus headed toward third. He is being waved home. Cano drops the ball. Good job by Brian Butterfield. He saw the throw was deep to the cutoff man, and he waved Rasmus home. Rasmus looked a little surprised as he was headed toward third, but Butterfield gets Encarnacion 2 more RBIs.
You know what? You can't be surprised. You've got to expect the ball in the gap or down the line that you're going to score from first base. It helps the Blue Jays when Ichiro fumbles it for just a second down the right field line. It came off the wall with some funky spin on it, so he had trouble initially getting the ball and then getting it back. Watch it. Right there, drops it and then overthrows the cutoff man trying to get it back in, and that allows Rasmus to score.
2 Gold Glovers on that cutoff and relay, and they botched the cutoff, and Butterfield took advantage of it. He saw Ichiro bobble the ball on the warning track in right, and that's when he decided to chase home Rasmus. Ichiro reached for that ball, and it just wasn't there. Went off the end of his glove. Encarnacion now 109 ribbies. Cunel Escobar, 1 out. The Yankees bullpen is getting hot. Tried to check and went around. Blue Jays lead at 4-0. The Orioles are off tonight, but you can bet they're watching a little baseball.
You know they are, to a man.
Orioles are a game and a half behind the Yankees for the American League East lead.
A lot of Oriole fans are now Blue Jay fans once we left Baltimore last night.
Yeah, we were leaving the ballpark, and there were a lot of the ushers going, "Come on, you guys, play those Yankees tough." And Pat and I said, "We have nothing to do with it." 1-2, 1 out. Paul Schreiber saying no swing. The Yankees, big Twins yesterday as the Orioles pounded on the Blue Jays. Here you see 2 games in the loss column. And if the Yankees lose tonight, that'll go down to 1 game, and it'll be a 1-game deficit for the Orioles. Another breaking ball in the dirt. Good job by Martin. Digging it out, keeping it in front.
He's had to do that a few times tonight. He's got a good curveball. That has helped Nova to strike out over 50 batters more this year than he did last year. He had a good year last year, 16-4, good numbers all the way around, but this year more strikeouts, and a lot of it has to do with that curveball.
And he can throw it with total confidence that Russell Martin's going to keep it in front.
His his last 7, though, he has been struggling, and there's some talk that in the playoffs he might be one of the guys that gets bumped out of the rotation and into long relief in the bullpen for the Yankees. Just 2-3 with an ERA of 7.88. Opponents hitting .322 against him over his last 7 starts.
That double that Encarnacion hit off Nova is the 87th extra base hit allowed by Ivan Nova. That's a Yankee single season record for a pitcher. 87 extra base hits.
Paying a lot of attention to Edwin Encarnacion at second base. Edwin's got 13 stolen bases and 16 attempts, but he's had that toe problem. Really not a threat to steal.
Bouncing ball. Jason Nix cuts in front of Jeter and throws out Escobar. Encarnacion moves to third. And Joe Girardi has come out of the Yankees dugout, and he's got a quick step. Ivan Nova has given up 4 runs on 6 hits, and looks like Girardi's going to take the baseball from him. Adam Lind is the batter, a left-handed hitter, so they'll go to Clay Rapata, the left-handed sidearm pitcher. 2 outs here at Rogers Center. In action tomorrow from the Thailand Open. He's in the quarterfinal, and it'll take place 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Sportsnet 1. That's 5 a.m. Pacific Time. Brownage is in the quarterfinal. He's matched up against a 6'10" opponent. I think he's got a little court coverage, if you will, but Brownage has been hot. He's had a great year of tennis, and we want to make sure that you check in on Brownage tomorrow.
I wonder what that guy's reach is. I guess no drop shots.
Clay Rapata gets Lynn to lift a pop-up right side of the infield. Cano makes the catch, 1 pitch, and Rapata's out of a jam, but the Blue Jays tack on 2 more. After 5, they have a 4-0 lead. field seats. After the game, kids 14 and under run the bases just like the pros. Call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com to order your tickets, or you can always stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Junior Jays Saturday, the final Junior Jays Saturday of the season. Number 9 hitter Jason Nix grounded out the third, his first time up. Brandon Morrow with a 4-run lead, 4-0 Blue Jays.
It's a long inning that Brandon Morrow spent on the bench as the Blue Jays will put those 2 runs, 3 hits, and knock Nova out of the game. Let's see if he can stay right in that zone where he has been through the first 5 innings.
Two balls and a strike to Jason Nix. Three and one. Brandon Morrow has really been in command. He threw 16 pitches in the first inning, but then 9 in the second, 10 in the third, 10 in the fourth, 11 in the fifth. The Yankees average 16.8 pitches per inning. They make pitchers work, but Morrow hasn't allowed them to do that. He's averaged 11.2 pitches per inning.
And that's what I mean about see if he can stay in the zone where he has been tonight, even though he spent a long time on the bench while the Blue Jays scored those runs in the bottom of the fifth. That's how you come back when you're down 3-1 there.
Thursday night football, Cleveland will take on the Baltimore Ravens. It's on now across the board. Sportsnet Pacific, West Ontario, and East NFL action every Thursday right here on Sportsnet. Derek Jeter, 0 for 2 so far. We mentioned this lineup has not really fared that well against Brandon Morrow overall. The starting lineup tonight for their career coming into this game, a 2.01 average against Morrow. And if you didn't notice, there's some pretty good hitters in this lineup.
Yeah, I would say so. Jeter, Suzuki, A-Rod, Cano, and the list goes on and on and on. Brandon has pitched against him in relief when he was with Seattle, and he's also made starts, 16 appearances and 10 starts against the Yankees in his career. That's not a small sample when you talk about a 2.01 batting average.
Well, that's a pretty good pitch. Morrow thought he had thrown a strike.
Remember he threw one in there in the first inning?
Jeter turned around and told the umpire he didn't think it was a strike. Three and one. Well, the one thing you don't want to do is walk the Yankees in a 4-run game.
Do you get the feeling, though, this inning, they're back to the Yankees where they're really going to make him work? I bet you they talked about this before they came up this inning and said, hey, let's get this guy's pitch count up. It's been too easy for him so far through the first 5 innings. Let's make him work. Jason Nix took a couple of pitches and got to 3-1 before he made it out. Derek Jeter, same way, got to 3-1. Veteran teams will do that. They'll get together on that bench and they'll talk.
Full count, 1 out. That's a good pitch. Morrow didn't get the call. So Jeter will take a 1-out walk. That'll bring Ichiro Suzuki to the plate. We mentioned he had a big day against the Blue Jays in the doubleheader. He couldn't get him out. September 19th, he hit everything that came toward him.
Look at the swings that he has taken, where the pitches are, where he's hitting them that day against all those tough pitchers. It might have been better just to take the rosin bag and throw it up there and see if he could hit that, because throwing a baseball, he was going to hit it somewhere.
That last hit against Aaron Loop was a game-winning RBI in a 2-1 game. He was 7 for 8 in the doubleheader, 9 for 12 in the 3-game series.
Yeah, what a series. He showed some power, too, in that series.
Their home run into the seats in right center. Jeter at first, couple of close calls went against Morrow. But he's ahead, 0-2. We mentioned the Blue Jays had a 2-8 road trip. The starters on that road trip averaged 17.4 pitches per inning. And we mentioned tonight Morrow's thrown just over 11 pitches per inning. He's not given the Yankees a real good read on what he's featuring. You throw 17 pitches an inning, they're going to see everything you have.
Yeah, and you're not going to be around long enough to stay in the game. Since he's come back from the injury, and we talked about that in the opening, that's one of the things that have been lacking with Brandon is his command. He had been averaging 18 pitches an inning since he's come back from that disabled list in those six starts before tonight.
Suzuki hits it into center. Rasmus gets back and makes the catch.
The all-new 2012 Honda CR-V. Yeah, it does that. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Lawrie Thompson Hall, not far from Rogers Center. Blue Jays would love to finish up a high note on this last homestand of the season. 7 games, 4 against the Yankees and 3 against Minnesota. Alex Rodriguez. A-Rod has a walk and a strikeout. Struck out to start the 4th. Caught looking at strike 3. Derek Jeter with a 1-out walk. He's at first now with 2 down.
Good pitch. You know the Yankees with their home runs, and they can get back in the ballgame with a home run. You got to be thinking A-Rod's thinking home run right here. So what does Brandon Morrow do? He throws him a changeup.
Two and 1. Once again, this is the 7th start for Morrow since coming off the disabled list, and this is a little bit closer to what he was at the first part of the season.
It was almost like spring training all over again for Brandon Morrow after he came back from that injury.
High fly ball, that's going to stay in the ballpark. Kobe Rasmus, the center fielder, makes the catch. Alex Rodriguez is retired. The inning is over. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Blue Jays lead it 4-0. J.P. Aaron-Cebe will start things off, followed by Kelly Johnson and Moises Sierra. Ivan Nova goes 4 2/3. He's charged with 6 hits, gives up 4 earned runs, walked a couple, and struck out 4. His game score below average at 42. And he didn't get the Yankees the kind of start they were hoping for in this series. The Yankees starting pitching has been a strong suit most of the season. But not tonight. Derek Lowe, the veteran who started out his season with the Indians in their rotation, will come out of the bullpen.
Too many base runners for Yankee pitching from Ivan Nova tonight, so Lowe will come into that game. He pitched the 3rd game of the season and won. Beat the Blue Jays. The first loss of the season by the Blue Jays went to Lowe and the Cleveland Indians. Sinker, slider, a little bit of a curveball for Lowe. He's been all over the place as a starter, as a reliever. Been around a long time.
J.P. Arancibia gets a base hit. His first of the night. 1 for 3 for J.P.
The timing just looks a little bit better for Arancibia at the plate. And he was talking about that in Baltimore. He felt like his timing wasn't there when he came back off the disabled list. Now he's seeing the ball a little bit better. He is waiting for that ball to come to him instead of going out and getting it. And it's paying dividends.
Young players get anxious when things aren't going well, and they'll get out in front, try to hit the ball before it gets to home. Kelly Johnson has struck out and walked. We mentioned the strikeouts, how it's not a big stigma anymore. Years ago, batters hated to strike out. They didn't want to strike out at all. Joe DiMaggio, the great Yankee Clipper, hit 361 home runs in his career. He struck out 369 times. He was the MVP in the American League in 1941 when he had the 56-game hit streak. He struck out 13 times.
13 times.
For the season, not the week, not 2 weeks, for the whole season. Mind you, it was only 154 games then.
Yeah.
Kelly Johnson hits this one hard to left. Raul Ibanez on the edge of the warning track makes the catch.
So he only got 550 at bats instead of 580.
How about that?
Yeah.
MVP in the league, and he strikes out 13 times.
Back in those days, there were a lot of low strikeout totals in baseball because guys, they'd go up there with those big bats, very thick bats, and they didn't want to strike out.
Now that was a no-no. Choke up on that bat. How about Swisher? We told you he's played a good first base. He takes a hit away from Sierra and turns it into a double play. Line drive double play. That's how the 6th ends. Swisher made a terrific play yesterday in Minnesota. And he turns a hit into a double play here tonight. On Monday, former CFL receiver and current Bachelor Brad Smith He'll be on with Tim and Sid between 1 and 4 on Sportsnet The Fan 590 in Toronto. And he'll co-host the primetime edition of Connected at 10 p.m. Eastern on Sportsnet East and Ontario. And don't forget, the Matchstruck Canada debuts Wednesday on City TV. Blue Jay fans?
Big time Blue Jay fans.
Blue Jay fans. Right now, they're Brandon Morrow fans for sure. He's shutting out the Yankees on 3 hits as Robinson Cano starts the 7th. Morrow throwing a 2-strike changeup back in the 4th, and Cano singled up the middle. This time he hits it down the left field line. Anthony goes over quickly, gloves it. Cano's headed for second. Here's the throw. Boy, Cano, he didn't slide, and he might have been better off had he slid into second, but he's safe nonetheless. Anthony goes, made another good play.
Watching the Blue Jays defense, they really bunch him in the middle of the plate. So when they go down the left field line, that's a sure double. But not the Anthony Gose. He comes over very quickly, cuts the ball off, and throws a strike to second base. Catches Cano by surprise.
You really like having a left-handed throwing left fielder. Explain that.
Well, the gloves is always going to go towards the foul line. And balls are hooked and sliced. Everything goes towards the foul line. But for a left-handed thrower, when he is throwing that ball towards home, it's not going to go into the runner. Right-handers, the ball will fade and it'll go into the runner. That to me is the most important thing.
Plus, he's got his glove to the side where all those balls are going to hook toward the foul line. I think the left-handed fielding left fielder is a real asset. 2-0 to Nick Swisher. Yankees trying to make some noise here in the 7th.
You always figure that there's an inning that they're going to wake up and put something together. If it's take a couple of pitches, get that pitch count up, get a couple of base hits, they use the walk to their advantage. And if you end up walking a few guys, the home run's always right there. So Morrow's got to stay positive, continue to use his fastball, continue to make quality pitches, and he'll be fine.
2-1 to Nick Swisher. Swisher's just 4 for 25 against Brandon Morrow. Another indication of how dominant Morrow is against the lefty hitters.
I thought Joe Maddon's idea of loading up his lineup, as you see the bullpen start to get ready after that double by Cano, load up the lineup with right-handed batters. And his idea was to take the slider away, if you can believe it or not. And remember, in that start, he did not have a very good slider. They laid off of it, couldn't throw it for a called strike, and it wasn't around very long.
3-1. High strike. Morrow gets the call. Morrow didn't get a couple of calls to Derek Jeter last inning. Right here, he might have gotten the call on the high fastball.
And if you look at the rule book, that's a strike. It looked like it was in the strike zone.
Full count. Cano at second. Swisher will take the walk. First 2 reach in the 7th. Bullpen is throwing for the Blue Jays.
Just when you said that he's had some easy innings, I'm telling you, I think they got together and said, we got to make this guy work just a little bit more. And they combined the double and the walk, and just like that, 2 men on, nobody out. And you know, that guy, the manager's getting nervous. And he's seen it before from the Yankees.
Left-handed hitting Curtis Granderson. He's 0 for 2. Coming into this game, left-handers this season have hit just 194 against Brandon Morrow. That's 64 points lower than right-handed hitters. So he has the ability to gauge where to throw that slider to lefties. I mean, it's a good visual. Break it down and in.
I think right-handers who have his type of stuff, where he can really spin it, spin the curveball, spin the slider, it's almost like they have an open door to the lefty where he can drop it in there. Where a right-hander, where that arm slot side is, it's almost like he cuts it off, that he just doesn't have the freedom to throw it where he needs to.
There's the breaking ball. Aaron Sebia holds on to the foul chip. That's a big out. First down of the inning. Granderson's 0 for 3.
Just the third strikeout of the night for Morrow. And that's okay. That'll keep that pitch count down also if you're not striking out tons of people. Ball spun up there. Granderson thinks he's right on it. You see his head down, but he just tips it right into the glove of Aaron Sebia.
One out. Cano at second, Swisher at first. The batter is Russell Martin. He's 2 for 2 against Morrow. And a bloop double and a hard hit single, both to left. His double wasn't even a bloop double. It was a high fly ball that dropped in fair territory. Yankees have but 4 hits. Martin has 2 of them. Cano has the other 2. Blue Jays are playing for pride, trying to slow down the Yankees.
I don't think they want anybody celebrating on their home turf. What a difference when you get this type of starting pitching. Everybody looks good.
Give you an idea how important starting pitching is. The Texas Rangers have 70 wins from their starters. That's tied with the Washington Nationals for the most in baseball. The average in Major League Baseball is 56 wins. The Blue Jays have 49 from their starters. You have to have good starting pitching to contend. I don't care how much you hit. I don't care how you play defense. If you don't have impact starters, you can't win.
Yep, it's plain and simple. And not just, oh, we have starters. You have to have good starting pitching if you want to win.
The Yankees have 68 wins from their starters. High fly ball into the outfield. Sierra, the right fielder, makes the catch. 2 outs. That ball gets away from Escobar, but Lawrie backs up the play. I mean, the Yankees, they boast great hitters. They've got gold gloves all over the diamond on defense, but bottom line, good starting pitching.
In the Yankee dynasty in the 2000s, it was built on starting pitching.
Hiroki Kuroda, Phil Hughes have done a good job. Kuroda's been a nice sign for the Yankees. He's not flashy, but he's consistent.
Yeah, get the job done. Get the ball on the ground. Keep it out of the air in that ballpark. But those Yankee teams, think about those Yankee teams in the late 90s and early 2000s. They were built on a lot of ex-Blue Jay pitchers.
Well, and that guy right there, Andy Pettitte, but Jimmy Key, David Wells.
David Cone, Roger Clemens. They were all Blue Jays.
Yeah, and that's what you have to have. And you look at the rest of the teams in the top of that department. Wins by starting pitchers. Texas, Washington tied with 70. Then the Angels and the Yankees with 68 each.
And they can develop their own pitchers, the Yankees, but they have the resources to go out and sign a hoss like CC Sabathia. There's a lot of teams in Major League Baseball that can't just go out there and write a check. So you've got to develop them.
Tampa Bay develops. They have 66 wins from their starters. Cardinals, they have 68 wins from their starters. And do you hear a familiar theme with these teams? They're all in the postseason picture.
They're all right there. That's what it's all about.
1-2 to Raul Ibanez.
In finding reliable starters, it's hard. You better recognize it, sign it, keep them around.
Joe Girardi, the manager of the Yankees, was the catcher for the Yankees when they started this great winning streak. 1-2. Ibanez is late.
Morrow got away with one right there, and he knows it. If you're going to throw that breaking ball, you've got to get it down.
Well, you made a great point, Pat, talking about the veteran Yankee hitters talking over their approach. The first 5 innings, Morrow used just 56 pitches. The Yankees have changed their approach, and the last 2 innings, Morrow has thrown 38.
You could just see it when Jason Nix came up. He made a concentrated effort of taking a pitch, taking a strike. And everybody else since then has really worked the count.
Ibanez fouls another pitch back.
So much so that this might be Morrow's last inning.
Yeah, it's getting that look. In the first 5 innings, Morrow threw 13 of 17 first pitch strikes. But the veteran Yankees worked him over in the last 2 innings. He's only thrown 3 of 9 first pitch strikes. But Morrow has a 4-0 lead. One and two, 2 outs. Sierra. Inning over. Morrow closes out the 7th. The Yankees leave a pair. 4-0 Blue Jays. And 30th, the Blue Jays and Yankees will continue this 4-game series. Saturday, September 29th, the first 10,000 kids 14 and under will receive a Junior Jays Fan Appreciation Player T-shirt. Sunday, the first 20,000 fans will receive a Fan Appreciation Player T-shirt courtesy of Home Hardware. Players include Jose Bautista, Brett Lawrie, Casey Jansen, Edwin Encarnacion, J. Pierre Ncibia, and Colby Erasmus. Anthony goes after that low sinker ball. Brandon Morrow pitched out of a tough situation in the 7th, and Bruce Walton is saying, good job, man, that's it. So he will leave with a 4-0 lead, holding the Yankees to 4 hits. Good effort.
And getting that extra inning in that 7th inning makes it so much easier on the manager and the pitching coach. Those last couple of innings, they could really match up if they want to. I'm sure we'll see a Steve Delabar or Brad Lincoln, the right-hander, to come in to follow, or a Darren Oliver, who has been the 8th inning man in save situations. I think that extra inning certainly helps.
Bouncing ball, big hop for Cano. 1 down.
Enter the Train Like the Blue Jays Brett Lawrie contest today at BlueJays.com. Presented by Sport Check. Your better starts here.
Brandon Morrow, job well done. He and JP and Seaver on the same page all night long. The only guys that got hits were Russell Martin and Robinson Cano. Brett Lawrie staked Morrow to an early lead. Lawrie hit a 2-run home run over the wall in right in the 3rd inning. Blue Jays added 2 more runs in the 5th. Edwin Encarnacion driving in 2 with a opposite field double.
And keep tacking them on. This team, this Yankee team.
Brett Lawrie rips a single into center field.
They don't give up, and they have that ability. So just keep the pedal to the metal, if you will.
Colby Rasmus did a good job his last time up. Had a bunt single up the 3rd baseline. That moved Anthony Ghost to 3rd base and set up Encarnacion's 2-run double. Jeter can't make the play. Rasmus has a base hit. Lawrie will stop at 2nd. Colby Rasmus with his 2nd hit of the night.
Got it started his last time up with a bunt single. And he's feeling pretty good about himself, not wasting any time. That was an inside-out swing. Let that ball get deep and stroked it by Jeter. Set it up for the big man.
He has delivered all season long, and the big man, of course, is Edwin Encarnacion. Now, the one thing we have talked about all night and all season, Encarnacion has a game plan. When he steps into the batter's box, there are no wild swings. He's 3 for 3 tonight, average at 286. Off the glove of Russell Martin. Boy, he got on it quickly to hold the base runners in their place.
Sometimes you have time to get in front of it. Sometimes you just have to backhand it. And that's what Martin does. Just enough time to backhand it, get something on it. The glove, the arm, anything to get back in there. And that's not his gamer he's using. There's his gamer.
Big wild swing, and Encarnacion chases that breaking ball. Russell Martin broke his glove early in the game. And he caught a pitch, and it broke right through the webbing. And his gamer has been relaced. And it's good to go on the bench. Steve Donahue, the head trainer, doing the work. And now they'll move up. Another breaking ball in the dirt. This time it goes up the first baseline, and the runners move up.
That one just a little bit too far to block that. Edwin has Derek Lowe right where he wants him.
2 strikes.
2 strikes.
Three for 3 already tonight. The infield has to come in. Yankees are down by 4. Outside. Boy, this really creates a lot of holes on the infield for Encarnacion, but he's thinking about doing major damage here.
Get it into the outfield.
On the ground. Lawrie got a good break, and Encarnacion will pick up an RBI. Brett Lawrie, going on contact, has a great speed, and Jeter took the short hop and had no play but to go to first, and Encarnacion his third RBI of the night.
Yeah, he looked to home and he was going to try and get it, but that's again what speed will do for you. You can steal a run on a ground ball to the shortstop with the infield in. Watch Lawrie, they're playing contact, and he goes. Jeter comes in, looks at him, and elects to get the shirt out over there at first base. An RBI for Encarnacion with a big assist from Brett Lawrie.
110 RBIs now for Double E. Rasmus at third, and Escobar takes a strike. Well, what a season. And it just keeps getting better and better. He hasn't slacked off a bit in September.
He might have gotten better in September.
Ground ball that's going to go into foul territory. Oh, and 2 outs. Blue Jays have added a run in the bottom of the seventh. They have a 5-0 lead. Brandon Morrow appears to be out of the game, and Morrow with a terrific start, his best since coming off the disabled list. Outside, 1-2. Another pitch off the plate outside. Driven to right. Suzuki toward the line makes the catch. The inning is over, but the Blue Jays get another insurance run. Edwin Encarnacion has given Brandon Morrow a big lead. Morrow's night is over. He has a 5-0 lead over to New York. Brad Lincoln into the ballgame. Morrow is 1-3 since coming off the disabled list coming into this game, and boy, he threw down a good one tonight. 7 innings, 4 hits. He shut out the Yankees over his outing. 3 walks and 3 strikeouts. His game score, a very impressive 69.
Because no earned runs and 4 hits, 7 innings, the longest before the start before he got injured when he threw a 9-inning complete game shutout. Brad Lincoln will now appear for the Blue Jays' 50th game of the season. A right-hander who throws hard. With the right-handers coming up for the Blue Jays, Lincoln with that good fastball to curveball. Combination of those 2 pitches, the first guy out of the bullpen.
Got to throw strikes. Morrow proved how effective that can be against the Yankees tonight.
Well, when he throws his fastball, he's got a good fastball. when he tries to overthrow it, flattens out and it comes up in the strike zone. When he stays within himself and he just keeps his body working together with that fastball, that's a good pitch. That's how good he can be.
He just has to trust his delivery and just let the ball come out of his hand, not try to muscle it up. Ball on the strike to the number 9 hitter. This could be the biggest out of the ball game. First out, top of the 8th inning. You go to the top of the order with 1 down, it's a totally different story.
Yeah, you lose him, and then you've got Jeter. And then before you know it, you got a couple of guys on, and you're in the middle of the lineup. Execute a pitch.
Tried to throw that breaking ball too hard.
Yep, tried to overthrow it, and when he does that, that front side opens up a little bit too quick. I mean, it's just a fraction of a second off. And that's why that ball went way out of the strike zone. Just be nice and fluid with it. There you go.
Came right back and used that hard curveball, and he was much more patient with his delivery and delivers a great pitch to strike out Nix.
Curveball, and it locks up Nix. He's just hoping that home plate umpire Tim Welke calls it a ball, but no sir, right down the middle. Watch how smooth that delivery is, and the break is right there.
So Derek Jeter, nobody on and 1 out. That big out, first out of the inning.
Can stay in the windup too.
Watch this curveball. How hard and quick it breaks. It looks like it's going to be inside, and then the spin just takes right over the heart of the plate. That's a wicked curveball.
Yeah, when you throw 94, 95 miles an hour with your fastball also, you don't have a whole lot of time to react.
Little flare into right. Sierra slides and makes the catch. Good effort by Sierra. Jeter making a bid for a base hit into right. Sierra got a good jump and makes the catch.
We highlight him in the defensive portion of our broadcast tonight because Sierra, other than the problems he's had with the sun, has really played a good outfield, a good right field. 3 outfield assists, which is 4th on the team. He got a good break there. He has shown to be very comfortable in the outfield, especially right field. That time takes a hit away.
How about this? Brad Lincoln, a 1-2-3 inning in the 8th. Good job by Lincoln. Retires the Yankees in order. Blue Jays have a 5-0 lead. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn from the BlackBerry Broadcast Studio. just sits there and teases those kids on top of the dugout. They can't quite get to it. I'll get it. No, I got it. It's mine. He threw it to me. Let me have it. No, I'll get it. And they're looking around and say, should we climb on the dugout?
You need a big net.
That's torture right there. And look at there. I said, I'll get it. I'm the guy got the longest arms at trying to get position. Little guy squeezes through. Somebody's got to get on the dugout roof. There he is. Oh, he's going to knock it back away from him. He finally got it. A determined effort from the second row. Well, how about this David Aardsma, who was just activated on Tuesday, returned from rehab, coming back from Tommy John surgery. This is his first major league appearance since September 19, 2010, against the Rangers when he was pitching for Seattle.
In closing for Seattle, big arm. Before he got hurt with that Tommy John surgery, Aardsma had a very good arm, and he was the closer.
Those numbers are from 2010. He started his rehab assignment on June 19th. It has been a long road back. The Yankees signed him to a one-year contract with a one-year option at the start of this season, February 22nd to be exact. He appeared in the big leagues with the San Francisco Giants way back in 2004. Cubs, White Sox, Boston, and Seattle. But this is another thing that the Yankees can do that not many clubs can do. They can sign a guy and know that they're not going to get much out of him for the entire season.
Yeah, you stash them away and they hope that they get healthy. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't work. Remember a couple of years ago when they signed Mark Pryor? Put him in AAA, and that just didn't work out for him. The big right-hander from the Cubs who was hurt.
John Lieber is another guy they signed that was hurt and never pitched. Last year, they took a roll of the dice on Freddie Garcia and Bartolo Colon.
Look how that worked out. So you can do that.
Yeah, and it's not just the 25-man roster that big payroll impacts. It's the depth in your organization. And hits it right to the third baseman. David Aardsma has to have a great feeling about that out. The first batter he's faced in over 2 years. J.P. Arancibia has continued his hot hitting. He's 1 for 3 tonight. There's a high fly ball to left. This ball's got the distance. Home run, Arancibia. J.P. Arancibia connects for his 18th home run, his second hit of the night. He's swinging a red-hot bat.
I'll tell you, if you want to see how you hit an inside fastball, there it is right there. Pull the hands in, quicken it up, shorten your swing. And Arancibia somehow keeps that ball fair down the left field line. If you're going around the baseball, you pull that ball foul. That time he kept his hands inside the baseball, kept it fair. That's how you hit an inside fastball.
Stroke is coming back for Arancibia, and it all started in Baltimore. That pinch hit batter, well, it wasn't a pinch hit at bat. He'd been in the game defensively, but he had one at bat in the game, and that was against Jim Johnson. He got a single, and that got his stroke back. Six-0 Blue Jays. Lawrie, a two-run homer, started it all in the third. 3-1. Joe Girardi with a concerned look. If they lose this game, they will fall back to a game lead over the Orioles. The Yankees will have 3 more games after this one tonight in Toronto, and then they will go home to play the Boston Red Sox. And Kelly Johnson strikes out. Second out of the inning. So I don't care what kind of season it has been for the Red Sox. You don't think they'd love to go into Yankee Stadium and spoil their party?
Yeah, do a little something right there. No team wants to see the opposition dance on their home field in celebration. It's going to be fun.
The commissioner, Bud Selig, has to be thrilled with the impact of that second tier of wild card teams. Had that not been the case this year, we'd be ho-humming it about the rest of the season, because Atlanta would be a wild card team and the Orioles would be a wild card team and we'd be done. But that's not the case.
That second wild card game has made even the division, winning the division, paramount. And that's having an effect on the pennant races all the way to the end of the season.
Yeah, even those teams that have a comfortable lead are fighting for home field advantage, but the teams that have the division title still in doubt. I mean, you're thinking of a prospect of playing a one and done playoff game as opposed to a 5-game series. That's dramatic.
Yeah.
And you look at it right now, the wild card race, Baltimore and Oakland tied for that first wild card spot. Of course, then one of those two teams will be the second, but the Angels are 2.5 back. The Angels, again, lost today as they were trying to close ground. The Angels lost 9-4 to the Mariners.
That's a big loss for them. They cannot afford to lose any more ball games.
Sierra takes the 2-out walk. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Moises Sierra gets the 2-out walk. He's at first. It's a 6-0 Blue Jay lead. Anthony Ghost goes after the first pitch. Anthony's been on base twice. He's scored twice. He walked in the third, singled and scored in the fifth, and was retired in the seventh. Tampa Bay and the White Sox are tied 1-1 in the bottom of the fourth in Chicago. Great pitching matchup there. Jake Peavy for Chicago, James Shields for Tampa Bay. That's the first of 4.
Tampa Bay is trying to run down both Los Angeles, Oakland, and Baltimore to get in as a wild card. I don't think they can get in. They're not going to make up 5 games, I don't think, against the Yankees in the last 7 games. But the wild card, that's a possibility.
Tampa Bay has won 7 straight. Ball into there. Tampa Bay, we mentioned the 4-game series in Chicago. Then they will go home to St. Petersburg and welcome in the Baltimore Orioles. Those two teams will play 3 games to finish out the season. If Tampa Bay continues to stay hot and run this table, they're going to get into the postseason. Anthony Ghost bounces it up the middle. Cano flips it to Jeter. Sierra thought he had beat the throw at second, but he is called out. That ends the bottom half of the 8th inning. We'll go to the 9th inning. The Blue Jays have a 6-0 lead. If you like the way the regular season is winding down, you're going to love October. Sportsnet's going to have all the playoff action right here, and it begins October 5th. The Division Series Championships will take place. That starts Saturday, October 5th. It'll be across the board on Sportsnet. Great postseason action. Dan Oliver, the veteran left-hander, is into the ball game. He makes his 60th appearance of the season. It's been a terrific season for Darren Oliver.
Anytime you've got that ERA under 2, batters hitting around 200, and I'd say it's a successful season.
Alex Rodriguez 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Oliver continues to baffle hitters, and he does it with that 87-mile-an-hour fastball. Once again, proof that you can't live and die with the radar gun.
Nope, doesn't mean anything. There's a little bit more to pitching than just lighting up that radar.
Right there, Rodriguez jammed with an 86-mile-an-hour pitch. The one thing that Oliver has done consistently throughout the season, he's induced weak contact. And to me, that's the definition of pitching.
And get that righty looking out over the plate and cut that fastball in on him. Can't extend through the strike zone. Some weak pop-ups and some jam ground balls.
Rodriguez really in between, and he just fights it off and stays alive. Oliver and Rodriguez have been around forever. Darren Oliver has faced Alex Rodriguez 22 times before this at bat. A-Rod is 6 for 22. Good crowd on hand here tonight, and this fan in a Blue Jays jersey makes a nice catch and doesn't spill a drop of his drink. Now that's a fan.
Yeah, no glove. Pretty impressive.
Another 0-2 pitch. Oliver has the sign. Breaking ball. That's a foul ball. The Yankees lose this game, they will lose a half a game in the standings, and the Orioles will move up a half game. It'll be a one-game difference between the Yankees and the Orioles. They will also, the Orioles will gain a game in the loss column. The Yankees, that hit him. Boy, that just brushed him, but Rodriguez will take first base, and with a man on, nobody out, this is now time for a preview of what's coming up on Connected. It's Ivanka Osbeck and our Jade Brownhead. Robinson Cano with Rodriguez at first. They'll play behind Rodriguez as Blue Jays have a 6-run lead. Oliver was ahead of Alex Rodriguez, and this pitch just barely nicks him.
That's a veteran move right there.
He's got that elbow pad underneath that sweatshirt, so he knows it's not going to hurt.
Yeah, it's 88 miles an hour. I can keep my elbow out there, get the inning started by getting hit by a pitch. Made no attempt to spin away from that ball at all.
Yankees need base runners. Robinson Cano has had a lot of success against Oliver. He's 6 for 13 against the Blue Jays lefty. The Yankees have been shut out to this point on just 4 hits. Cano has 2 of the 4 hits. Russell Martin has the other 2. Nick Swisher's on deck. He's gone 0 for 2 with a walk.
Last time the Yankees were shut out, you have to go back to August the 4th when King Felix got them 1-0.
They have also homered in 7 straight games. Over that 7-game stretch, they hit 15 home runs. Well, Morrow baffled him for 7 innings. Lincoln had a perfect 8th. And now Oliver trying to close it out for John Farrell.
You know, it's never easy against a team like the New York Yankees. They will battle you all the way through. One of the best games that I ever saw was last week against the Oakland A's. They gave up 3 and then they just came back, or gave up 4 and came back and scored 5.
Yeah, Oakland hit 3 home runs in the top half of the inning. The Yankees scored 4 and tied them. And then they would go on and score a run on an error by the first baseman.
Yeah, so there's never any quit in this team. So they make it difficult to finish off ball games.
Aaron Seavey going to go out to the mound and talk things over with his veteran pitcher. We'll be right back here tomorrow night for game 2 of this 4-game series. The 37-year-old right-hander Hiroki Kuroda, who's had a good year for the Yankees. His first season in New York, 14-11 at .334 ERA. Chad Jenkins threw the ball very well against Tampa Bay, earns himself another start. So he'll make his second big league start against the Yankees right here tomorrow night. Opposite ends of the spectrum in experience. Hiroki Kuroda, 37. Chad Jenkins just making his second big league start. Kuroda, I didn't think much of that sign when the Yankees announced they'd signed Kuroda, but he's pitched well.
Before he came here as a free agent, he had good ERAs, but just couldn't win.
Robbie Cano has a pretty good beat on Darren Oliver. Full count. We are in the top of the 9th. Blue Jays trying to close out the Yankees in the first of 4. Base hit up the middle. Rodriguez stops at second. 2 on, nobody out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Boy, what a matchup that is. Peavy and Shields, and Luke Scott with the home run. For Scott, that's his 14th of the season. And we saw Luke Scott and Carlos Pena red hot down in Blue Jays, down in the series against the Blue Jays.
How about those 2 warriors going at each other, Peavy and Shields?
Pena has driven in 1 run tonight, and Scott's driven in the other. It's a 2-1 Rays lead, trying to make it 8 in a row. Nick Swisher. You saw Bruce Walton on the phone to the bullpen. They're going to get Casey Jansen, take his jacket off, and start to move around. Darren Oliver. He is something else. There you see Jansen just starting to move it around and get the blood flowing a bit. Darren Oliver, after giving up the base hit to Cano, comes back and throws 2 strikes to Swisher.
Yeah, get back in the count. What this is doing, the long inning, it's also, if you're a manager, you got to think about tomorrow night. If you can use Oliver tomorrow night, if this keeps going the way it is.
Swisher hits the fly ball into the outfield. Sierra in right calls for it, and he'll get the ball back in. That's the first out of the inning.
Well, the center fielder has priority in the outfield. You see Colby calling him off, saying, I got it, but Sierra takes it. Now, why does Sierra take it? Because his momentum is going towards the player, the third base. A little bit stronger throwing arm, and holds the runner up there.
Now, you got to make sure you get your signals straight. Colby Rasmus clearly called for it. He has priority in the outfield. One out.
And you're right. There have been problems in the outfield
all season long. And Colby Rasmus, he's got priority in center. And it's not like that was a tag situation.
Yeah. Alex Rodriguez is not going anywhere.
Curtis Granderson 0 for 3 so far in this game. Way outside. Aaron Seavey out to talk to his veteran. I think Darren Oliver's probably got a pretty good feel what he wants to do here. He's done it a time or two. Curtis Granderson has hit just .215 against left-handed pitching this season. But he's hit 14 of his 40 home runs against lefties. High into center field. Rasmus moving under it. 2 down. Russell Martin's had a good night. He's gone 2 for 3 tonight with a double. Yankees have only been shut out 5 times this year.
All season long. Paulino got him from Kansas City. Jake Arrieta got him. Yu Darvish shut him out early in the season. Jeremy Hellickson and Tim Felix, and that's it.
Russell Martin takes one off the plate inside. Good way to start the series if you're the Blue Jays. Got your best pitcher on the mound, Brandon Morrow, and he pitched like it tonight.
Yeah, he pitched like an ace. Used his fastball, pitched deep into the ball game for him. Came up with some clutch hits.
Strike on the inside corner. Martin didn't like the call.
Fastball, inner half. And you can see right away he has something to say to Tim Welke, home plate umpire.
Wow, that's a pivotal pitch. Goes from possibly 2-1 to 3-0. And Tim Welke is telling Russell Martin, I've had enough. That had nothing to do with the dirty home plate.
That had nothing to do. That was all about, okay, I've had enough. I've gone to my limit. I'm going to let you know it.
2-1, 2 outs. Three and 1. Darren Oliver trying to close this ball game out. He hit Alex Rodriguez to start the inning. Robinson Cano got his 3rd hit of the night. He singled the center. Then Swisher flied out. Granderson flied out. Now Russell Martin with a 3-1 count.
You got to figure now this is going to be his 27th pitch of the inning. That's probably not available for tomorrow night. If it was a quick inning, probably. But if the Blue Jays are in this situation tomorrow, he'll probably be unavailable.
This is the guy the Blue Jays have been looking for all night long. 3-2, 2 outs. The runners are off. Martin pops it back out of play. The Blue Jays, 6 runs on 10 hits. They've hit 2 home runs. Russell Martin, fly ball to left. Ghost broke back. He comes in. The game is over. The Blue Jays shut out the Yankees on 5 hits. Brandon Morrow, Brad Lincoln, and Darren Oliver team up. Blue Jays pound out 2 home runs. Brett Lawrie got it all started. His 10th home run of the season was all the Blue Jays needed. That came in the 3rd.
Showing some fight. First of all, it starts with the good starting pitching. They got that tonight from Morrow, 7 shutout innings. And then some power from Lawrie and Aaron Sevilla, and then Edwin Encarnacion, I think, leading the way. He had some good at-bats against Ivan Nova, and it showed for the Blue Jays.
Blue Jays win the first game of a 4-game series, and the Yankees lead is down to 1. We'll see you tomorrow night. Stay tuned for Connected. Ivanka Osmak and R.J. Broadhead coming right up.